Son of Man. A live broadcast every Sunday at 12 noon on TV 33, FM 88.1 WHCR, and Comcast Cable. So why don't you call and let's discuss the Holy Bible, and if you have one, the Holy Quran, and come to an agreement about the Holy Scriptures and their true meaning. So tune in to a Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man every Sunday at 12 noon, right here on TV 33, FM 88.1 WHCR, and Comcast Cable. You can call in live on the air at area code 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. Of course, the area code is 313. That's 313-868-4336, 868-0342, and 868-0351. And now let's go live. The Scriptural Discussion with the Son of Man.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, the Truthful, and the Most Just, I greet all of you once again with the greeting words of peace from the Lord of the worlds. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. Before I go into tonight's class with you, is something wrong with your monitors or what? We want to bring something to the attention of all of those who say that they were Muslim followers of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and that had love in their heart for him. We don't, this world have a saying that the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that's the way this world talks. And that's why they say war and politics make strange bedfellows. And because most people in this world don't know how to be a true friend. They say things like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that is not the statement of a righteous man. That's the statement of a wicked man that thinks that as long as you're against this person, then you on my side as far as I'm concerned. That's not God's word. Is the friend of my friend is my friend. And the news got to me of someone who the messenger obviously loved, and who loved him enough to stick by him and to be his companion in life. And I met one of her sons. I haven't met both. I did meet one of her sons. His name is Fool. And not only did I find him to be a very respectful and humble young man. And he was kind to me and to some of my followers back in the, Brother Derek can correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was back in the 90s, visited Brother Maurice. You remember you all went over to the temple over there? And you, now he knew that I have some disagreement, but he always treated my followers with respect. And when I visited up there and went over to meet him, he treated me with the utmost of respect. And I want to say to him and his brother and his family, his whole family, the messenger's family, that our condolences go out to you over the death of your mother, Sister Tanetta Muhammad. That's her picture there with the messenger. You see it on. And I think that I will let you hear her speaking. Someone was kind enough to put some of her speeches up on the internet. And this one is from around 65, between 64 and 65. That's what they said. And I know it was around the time that Malcolm was assassinated. But I'm going to let you hear from her an excerpt from some of what she had to say concerning people saying the messenger was not a messenger of God and that kind of thing. And, you know, when many people in this, you know, it's kind of ironic that the people who accused us of not being Muslims are now center stage, and the whole world is looking at them in their hypocrisy. For these are the same people who were saying to us of the whom the world called, quote unquote, black Muslims of Islam, that is not true Islam. But no one ever accused us of being terrorists. No one ever accused us of creating an atmosphere where people fear for their life to get on an airplane. And the worst that people could accuse us of was telling the truth on white people that they didn't like to hear. But this is Sister Tanetta here, and sitting next to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. They, I'm glad they have a picture together. And I want you to listen to her be introduced by the secretary, and she has a. You'll be able to see why the messenger, you know, took her for a wife. Yeah.
Observing the customs and ways of life of both the Indian Pueblo, American Southwest, and of the people of Mexico. And I can truthfully bear witness that both the Indians and the Mexicans are looking forward to a time of change. They are eager to listen to Islam as taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. His teachings are so timeless, and they are eager to accept a teacher of this religion among them. They have witnessed for too many centuries, as we, the black people of America, the powerless power which Christianity has boasted, and have witnessed the extremes of power among their people, who profess a religion whose founders and present leaders have promised them so much and have given them so little. Every day or so, many interested persons in the city where I presently reside and study inquire in depth about teachings of Messenger Muhammad and the effect it will bring to bear upon the people of Mexico and their land. They are more concerned about their future and the world tomorrow, whether it means the annihilation of white America and Europe or not, while the black man living in the most dangerous part of the planet today is worried only about the future of the white man and his desire to save the devil from hellfire and destruction and not himself. This week, as a result of the recent slaying of Malcolm, the newspapers of Mexico City in the south and Monterrey and Saltillo, among other cities, printed daily coverage of these events as they spread across the nation and the world. And they realize more than we that the problem of the black people in America is so complicated and so serious that only a divine solution will be effective in bringing about complete justice and peace among our people and the world. Various representatives of that country, including a group of teachers from the Canal Zone in Panama, are looking forward to meeting with Messenger Muhammad and hearing more of his teachings. They are also hoping to have him present in their countries in the near future. But when we look on the other side of this picture, we see the treacherous hostilities and hatred that has overspilled from the heart of our pitiful black people in America, who seek to destroy the very the other nations would like to pay homage to, and to have in their midst teaching them the same divine wisdom and truth which we have now. And of the person of Malcolm, they question, what kind of a person was he to turn against the man who is proven to be the superior of spiritual teachers among the nations in the world today? All right. What?
As you can see, she was a long way from being a dummy. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught her. The people that claim that the Muslims look down on the woman, that's people who have been observing that stuff overseas. They haven't really observing what they saw right in front of them. They see our sisters running some of everything. They see our sisters are able to, she wasn't the only one that was able to stand up and speak like that. She just wasn't trying to usurp the authority over her man, because she didn't see no need to try to do that. No wise man want a dumb woman. The only man who wants his woman to be dumb is a man who can't think past his waist. And his pocket, which would explain why, I mean, can you imagine what kind of heart a person has to have to find out that to see their wife give birth to a girl child or a woman child, or as you may say, a girl baby, and then take that little baby and bury it alive because he wanted a boy. That's what the Arabs was doing before Prophet Muhammad intervened. They that are well don't need no physician. But they that are sick, you bragging about the prophets came to all you people there, that's because you was the sick one. And then we fell in your hands and you made us sick. And that was so that we could eventually make everybody well in all of their affliction. That's just another way of saying in all of their sicknesses, he was afflicted. He was sick. But if you got a strong enough immune system, it'll deal with all them viruses you done picked up. And the word of God is the strongest immunity. So before I go on, I want all of us to silently, as I think it's a good practice that this world has, to observe a moment of silence, a moment of peaceful thought over something that the messengers, they didn't go into depth in it, but they always wished you peace. Every messenger wished peace to the people, God's peace. And Prophet Muhammad, in his sayings, in what they call hadiths, those are sayings not of Allah, but sayings that the Prophet had of just from himself, from his own thoughts. And not so much as revelations, but as the Prophet said, the poets or kin, the relatives. Kin is just another word of saying relative. You know how you say your relatives? The poets are kin to the prophets. It was a poet that said, the loss of any human being diminishes me. That's not the word of a wicked person. That's the word of a person who believes in righteousness and the oneness of humanity. And that all human beings truly did come from one blood. And so when we take a moment of silence, it is just in recognition that we suffered a loss as human beings. Do you understand? And so we will observe a moment of silence for the loss of Sister Tanetta Muhammad. Amen. You know, even in our disagreeing with one another here in America, in the Islam, as was taught by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Brother Silas haven't sent nobody out here to try to kill nobody. Brother Minister Farrakhan ain't sent nobody out around trying to kill nobody. And I certainly have not sent nobody out to try to kill somebody because they didn't like what I was teaching or didn't like me. Can the rest of you claim the same who call yourself Muslims? I've learned more. I'm so thankful that Allah saw fit to put me over here in this country. He put me here. He created it. He made this country. They knew it. The founding fathers knew it. That's why in the beginning of their hidden religion of the founding fathers, it says the founder. Let me let you hear what he said. Well, these people have corrupted what their founding fathers, you know, the founding fathers knew that Christianity and what they was preaching wasn't the truth. Just listen to this.
One of America's most important founders was a man named Charles Thompson, who was said to have been closer to the events and people of the American Revolution than any other man of that era. Thompson was the congressional secretary from 1774 to 1789, all the way through the Revolution and the establishment of the federal government. He was also the man who made the final decisions for the design of the Great Seal of the United States, which can now be found on the back of America's dollar bill. As the new American Republic was being founded, Thompson made a detailed history of the events that took place during the Revolution and of the men who were being celebrated as heroes across the country. Though he was compelled repeatedly to publish this history, Thompson declined. No, he said, I ought not, for I should contradict all the histories of the great events of the Revolution. Let the world admire the supposed wisdom and valor of our great men.
The man that's reading don't understand what he's reading. He don't understand what that meant. For he thinks that this man was condemning the founding fathers when he wasn't. He was simply wasn't going to tell them bust their bubble and let them know that, like all Muslims, when you praise us and when you tell us how wise we were, we just tell you, I got that from Allah. All praise is due to Allah. He couldn't tell them that. Why? Because of this country was coming into existence. It was actually a womb that God had in mind and was creating to hold Abraham's seed in it for 400 years. That's right. And so the founding fathers, they're the ones that coined the phrase manifest destiny. It was a destiny that's unavoidable. You see, when Almighty God Allah say this is going to happen, the only one who try to make that a lie is the devil. You remember when God told the devil, he said, have you considered my servant Job over there? He's a perfect and an upright that feareth God and forbiddeth evil. Now, why would the Lord, who is God, say to the devil, why didn't he say Job fears me? He didn't word it like that. He said he feareth God and escheweth evil. Because the God of the God is the truth. But anyway, that may get past you, but that's okay. The fact of the matter is that he told the devil about Job, and the devil didn't believe him. He said, you take it from him. Do he fear God for naught? You done bless the work of his hands. And then put a hedge around him. You're protecting him and his household. Take it from him. He'll cuss you to your face like I would. Do you understand? That's the way the people of this world are. They're like a child. They have a child's mind. Long as you giving him something, he agree with you. Take some of it back, and you the worst thing ever hit the planet. Of course, ain't none of y'all like that, right? Yeah, I know. But that's the way of the world. So now, this man, he could have told the people the truth. But if he had told them that, slavery wouldn't have happened. What if he'd have told them the black man is your father? He's our father. He ain't telling you, don't do that to your father. So listen, he says, after he writes it, he balls it up, throws it away. According to them, this is what he did. Now listen.
He said, I shall not undeceive future generations.
I shall not undeceive. What do you mean? They all believing in a lie. But I got to let them believe that for now. So that the destiny can be, so that God's will can be done. Wait, who you think wrote that song? What you think that song just popped into somebody's head without, and they didn't have the slightest clue? Go ahead, hate your neighbor. Go ahead, cheat a friend. Do all that in the name of heaven. What do you mean in the name of heaven? By the word of heaven, 6 days shall you labor and do all your evil, all your work. Because there ain't none good but one, and that's God. And if he told you to do your thing, then you already know what your thing is. Your thing is evil. Even when you think you're doing good, you're doing evil. I'll show you a good example. Here, these people, they doing what they figured over there, cutting people's heads off. That's Christians or whatever. While Christians over here protecting their right to worship what they want. The Holy Quran jumped right off the page. Those closest or nearest to the prophets in faith are those who say we are Christian. That's what, and Allah told me, thou will find that. And you know what they're hanging their hat on? Muhammad, he took a head of every disbeliever. I didn't hear them asking nobody to recite the Shahada before they cut their head off. The prophet told them anyone who would say La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah, you don't take his life. The prophet knew that if you gave that man that choice, that man gonna say that. They didn't get him people that choice. Do any of you have the slightest clue why you shouldn't kill a person? I know you said, well, God said don't do it. Why? Do you think that these people really believe that all human beings are brethren? I mean, if we all came from, if humanity is really one, like they teach, then how can you lightly kill one of your family members? It's a whole lot of things I got to explain to you. But the thing is, you know, when Abraham saw the angels on their way to Sodom, and they told him what they was going to do, he started saying, should not the God of the earth be just? What if 50 righteous there? You going to destroy them with them? The only ones you hear talking about, hey, look, you know, you can't just go in there with no sludge hammer like a bull in a china shop. If these people are not combatants, what are you killing them for? The Americans, even these that we call devils, they got rules. The devil had rules. He told God, I can't touch him. You got the edges around him. Meaning you told me not to bother him. That's why the Holy Quran, you pointing at the devil outside of you. The scriptures say when they are alone with their devils, the wrong you doing don't belong to somebody else. That's your wrong. And I don't care who you try to blame for it. That's you doing that. And it's something you chose to do. And you're going to answer for it too. You see, if you had the ability to search everyone's heart, you'd have the right to kill whenever you felt like it. You know why? Because killing it ends all hope, all chances, all second chances, or third chances. It ends any chance of that person ever becoming the servant of God. So when you took that man's life, were you sure that that man would never have converted? That there was no one who could reach that man? And if you wasn't sure of that, what gave you the right to take his life and take his chance away to be spared? I remember about a year or so ago, a matter of fact, it was longer than a year or so, maybe been 2 or 3 years ago. I was on the air and I was visiting Detroit and I was driving and it was a car to my right, and I didn't see him. And you know, you wouldn't have no blind spot in your mirrors if you would adjust your mirror out, not where you can see your side mirrors. Don't adjust them where you can see the rear end of your car. Adjust when you look over there where you can't see your rear end of your car. Then you will see any car that's coming up on the side of you, what would have used to be in your blind spot. Your rear view mirror will let you see the back end of your car. And do both side mirrors that way, and you won't have no blind spot. Now, but anyway, I came over and like the random poor man off the road. And I whipped on back over in my lane. And I could have went on. But I looked in the mirror, I saw him cussing and doing some of everything. And I slowed down. And when he got next to me, when he pulled up next to me, I rolled the window down. And he rolled his down real quick. And he was ready to cuss me and do everything. And I told him, I hollered out. I said, brother, I'm so sorry. Man, I didn't see you. I'm very sorry. I didn't mean it. And he calmed down. When you wrong a person, these people are so wicked that when they wrong you and you fuss them out about it, they think they got a right to fuss back. I had no right to be fussing at him because I wronged him. And it's not up to him to make it right. It's up to me to make that right. Because I would appreciate it if somebody wronged me and apologized. But even if they wrong me and don't apologize, I'm not going to chase them down. Allah will chase them down. See, that's the difference in somebody who truly knows and believes in God and somebody who faking. Since when can't you trust in the God to fix people who mess with you? Now, if he sends somebody to just start something with you, then maybe he intends to chastise them at your hands. I mean, put their hands on you, then that's Allah letting you know, okay, deal with them. Because he had no business putting his hands on you. But as far as going out there getting into it with people, you ain't got to be out there getting into it with people. Now, let me show you something. If this woman had been someone who heard what I said, she'd still be alive now. Maybe. Put it like that. Maybe she'd still be alive.
Thanks very much. Just ahead, new details about a road rage incident that left a woman dead in Las Vegas. Her family is defending her after it came out that she may have escalated the situation by picking up her son, who was armed with a gun himself, to go looking for the driver. Also, had the American sniper filed a former Gulf.
You don't go looking for somebody that's done cut you off or whatnot. If they kept going, let them go. Because let me tell you something. You never know what made the person do that. They may have had an emergency at home and panicked and wasn't paying attention to nothing but trying to get there. You understand what I'm saying? And so, don't be always so quick to be angry with people when you don't know what motivates them to do what they did. And but anyway, I'm gonna let you hear the whole thing. I don't know how many of you done heard it, but you done seen this already? All right.
The man accused of killing Chris Kyle. From son looking for the other vehicle. Police are still searching for the suspect. The new twist tonight, that deadly road rage incident in Las Vegas. Police now say the victim, a mother of 4 who was shot to death, had gotten back in her car after the original incident, drove around with her armed son looking for the other vehicle. Police are still searching for the suspect. Sarah Seidner has the latest.
Filled with sorrow, the family of Tammy Myers walks by her makeshift memorial as they prepare to make funeral arrangements. Myers, a mother of 4, shot and killed after a road rage incident.
My mom was protecting me this night, She's doing what her mother would do is protect her baby.
But while the family first explained this as a case of road rage only on the part of the suspected killer, they now find themselves defending Myers' role in possibly escalating the situation.
Emotions get ahead of what you should do, I think that there might be a case of that.
So what happened? Initially, the family only revealed details that the driver suspected of killing Myers went off the handle with no provocation. But new details are emerging. Police say Myers was finishing up a driving lesson with her daughter in the parking lot just 2 minutes from their home. And then the two left the school and ended up in some kind of altercation with the man who would eventually kill Tammy Myers.
The couple came up at a high rate of speed behind it, and then pulled off to the side and ultimately cut her. As that vehicle, her daughter reached over and honked the horn.
Police say Myers and that driver sketched here argued. Myers and her daughter then drove home. They arrived safely, and it could have ended there, but it didn't.
Her 22-year-old son came out of the house, got into the car. He was armed with a firearm that is registered to him, and then they left the house. They left the house in search of. They were with just fire.
Police say they found the driver they were looking for, but gave no details on what happened in that second encounter. Myers' her son. This time, the suspect followed. Gunfire was exchanged, and Tammy Myers was struck in the head. She was taken off life support on Valentine's Day. Despite the criticism that Myers and her son may have had a hand in escalating the situation, her family says no one should ever have died over something so trivial.
I did what I had to do to protect my family. Everyone can think of the right thing. I did it for a reason.
I can understand you saying that if you didn't go back looking for that person. Protecting your family is when someone come after you, not when you go after somebody. You know, the worst thing that could have ever happened was people walking around and everybody toting a gun. You know what emboldened you to go back chasing them people? You had your stuff. Whenever any nation of people think that they need guns for their neighbors, I don't care how united they may have been, when they reach a point where they think they need guns to protect themselves from their neighbors, that nation has died and is now coming apart. Members of the same nation don't feel that they need to protect themselves from one another. They instead protect one another from others. But you have all these crooked politicians up there stoking them fires. Oh, they gonna get what they got coming. Don't you worry. The Holy Quran says their parable is that of one who kindles a fire. And when it illumines all around him, then Allah takes away their light. When you get every American that should be an ally to one another, you got on this side the parasites, and on this that's what what's the name called? Norquist. He called the Democrats parasites. And here you talking about your fellow Americans. You notice the presidents, they stand up all of the time and they say, my fellow Americans. They don't say my fellow Democrats, my fellow Republicans. They say my fellow Americans. But now, because you have such a fat bank account, you have such deep pockets as a nation, the crooks looking. I mean, people that ain't even from America, they ain't been here long, can come over here and run for politics now. Thanks to some of the crooks that's been bought off and changing laws to make it okay. I'm just telling you, they taking your country. Yeah. And you know I ain't got no stake in it. I'm not trying to lose myself and become part of this melting pot you got here. I want my own country. But as I did not like to see infiltrators and people who just pop up out of nowhere. And you be trying to figure out where this man come from. Now he's a lieutenant, he's a captain in the nation. He never met him. But all of a sudden he's in charge of something. He was sent in there. And the people who were sent before him paved the way for him. Then they brought him in and set him up. And then he treat the ones who truly believe with such disdain and disrespect that he drive them away. And if he can't drive them away, he buddy up to them and turn them into a crook. So, but now that game being ran on America. They ran some of their sincere members out of Congress with all that old backbiting and backstabbing and aha moments. As if you can't walk behind somebody at any point in time. You can walk behind anybody and hear them pass gas. If they're human, I guarantee you stay around them long enough, you'll hear them pass gas. You'll hear them let something fly out their mouth that they shouldn't. I don't care how righteous they are. There's not a just man that has not sinned. Not one. But God simply said not that you be judged. Judge not the one who came to keep you from being judged and found guilty. Don't try to judge that one. You better be glad he there. What, you think a doctor just disease? He's trying to help you in spite of the fact that he can catch your disease. But anyway, so you see, it's always more to something than a lot of times when people just bring you one word about it, and it involves more than one person. You got to get the other side too. You got to find out what's really behind all of this. You mean a man cut you off and then he just shoot you? And come to find out, yeah, he cut them off. They went home and came back searching for him. That's not wise. Whenever, I mean, who runs after, even if what the person is doing, if they did it on purpose, if they kept on going, why would you chase them? Get the license number, give it to the ones who get paid to chase them. I mean, or if nothing else, I mean, if you see a tornado coming, would you run over there? Where's that? And if it zipped past you without bothering you, would you catch up with it? Always be thankful that a fool kept going past you. If you see him coming up, over. If you can't, that's what a rearview mirror is for. So you can see what's coming up behind you. If you look like he's coming too fast, give him room. Get out of his way. But this country is full of rebellious people. Their ego just won't let them get out the way. I got just as much right to this as that fool there, and I'm just as big a fool as him. Is that, yeah. You run into one just as big as you pretty soon. So, don't be foolish. Go in the way of peace. If you can walk away from trouble, walk away. If you can ride away from trouble, drive away. What are you trying to prove? I ain't never been in a fight that I wasn't scared, wasn't nervous. But not the kind of scared that you may be thinking. I'm scared to start it, and I'm scared to get hit. So I'm watching. Do you understand? And the minute he look like he gonna hit me, it look like we got to get it on. Because I sure ain't gonna let you walk up on me and steal on me. But as far as going and starting it with you, you ain't never got to worry about that. I'm scared to do that. If I could have avoided a fight and I start one, I'm scared Allah gonna let me lose to teach me a lesson. So, because I done did that before. So before I accepted Islam, and even after I accepted Islam, got into it with somebody and I couldn't even be mad because I was wrong. Trying to fake a mad. You can't fake a mad. When people say they was fighting mad, that means that their anger gave them even more strength to fight. But if you ain't really mad, you need to stay out of that fight. That means you ain't got no reason to be fighting and you just doing it. You understand? Now if someone attack your country, you'd be surprised how much ingenuity you have when you just defending yourself. But when you aggressing on people, your ingenuity, you ain't got much for that. So defend yourself. And if you're not doing it in defense, leave people alone. Don't convince yourself that you over in somebody else's house defending yours. If you in their house, they defending theirs. And I'm so thankful that the press could not. These people actually think they want to declare war. Some of these stupid people in the media that own the media. I'm not talking about the reporters. They just reading whatever they put up there. You read it or you get fired. And boy, the last thing you want to do is talk about you at war with Islam. You gonna declare war on God? Any of y'all think you need to declare war on me? I'm the Son of Man. I'm God's only representative on this planet. Now, is anybody typing they need to declare war on me? I represent Islam. Don't call them people Islamic extremists. Islam ain't got nothing to do with that mess. Islam is in the West, and we out of their mess. Let me read something to you from the Holy Quran to show you how off base all of them is. They're always looking for an excuse to murder somebody. But that's what it's about. So, Allah will give you what you're looking for. Especially when he told you what not to do. And then you notice when God said, thou shalt not kill, then he said the reward of any this is you should murder this person or murder that. Don't you think you need to go get some clarity? I mean, really, what you think? Let's see here. I want to show you something here. Well, this verse here done sent so many people into delusion. This is chapter 5. And let's read the 33rd verse. It says, we need to start I think we need to go and read a little bit before that. Cain and Abel. So let's start at the 27th verse. It says, and relate to them with truth.
Hello?
Yes. Yes.
I'm glad you showed that, because when they showed it on TV, I just caught the tail end of it. I didn't get the rest of it. And so I think you ought to show that again and let women know they can't just buck up on a man.
Well, it's not just buck up on a man. Once you bucking up on a gun. And a gun ain't got no gender.
That's right. I'd like to see
you see, people now, by having guns in your hands, it eliminates the need for diplomacy. It eliminates the need for human interaction with each other. They done made everybody into a potential murderer by putting guns in it. I told y'all to put them guns down. Now, if they hadn't had no gun in their house, you know what would have happened when they got home? They'd have said, well, I'm sure glad we got away from that fool. But instead, they went home and got their gun. And the boy went out there with his mother and got his mother killed. So I'm going to tell all of you, if you got guns, you get rid of them. Now, you say you believe in God. Well, then why don't you trust God to take care of you? Yeah, I know. That's because you've been worshiping false gods. That's the reason why you think I'm crazy for standing up here saying that. It's because you know that the thing that you've been talking about is God. Ain't nothing no power in that. I remember when Abraham pulled the cover off of them, tore up all the gods and left a big one there. They said, who have done this to our gods? And Abraham said, that's that big one there. And they say, you know that they can't speak. You know he can't speak. And Abraham said, yeah, now look at you. You worship that which cannot see, cannot speak, can't defend itself, and can't control no harm or benefit for you. And you worshiping that? I'm not finna go and get no gun from the devil to protect myself from the devil. Get a scripture from God to protect yourself from God. You best leave God's word alone. Don't never try to use his word against him. The weapons of this world against the one who made them. He understands them far better than you, and he ain't gave you nothing that he ain't got something better to deal with you with. So now let's get back to this. It says, and relate to them with truth the story of the two sons of Adam, when they offered an offering, but it was accepted from one of them and was not accepted from the other. Now, this is the story of Cain and Abel, remember? Let's go and read it, because you know, a lot of y'all don't know nothing about the book but what you heard. You heard somebody say it was there. I'm going to show you that it is there. This is in Genesis, around the 4th chapter. It says in, it's the 4th chapter of Genesis. It says, and Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bare Cain, and said, I have gotten a man from the Lord. And she again bare his brother Abel, and Abel was a keeper of sheep, but Cain was a tiller of the ground. And in process of time, it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground, and he brought of the fruit of the ground an offering unto the Lord. And Abel, he also brought of the firstling of his flock, and of the fat thereof. And the Lord had respect unto Abel and to his offering, but unto Cain and to his offering he had no respect, had not respect. And Cain was very wroth, and his countenance fell. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thy countenance fallen? You know, he didn't have no expression of peace on his face. He walking around mad and showing it. Showing it. That's the worst thing you can do when your daddy looking at you. When he do something that you don't like. And you showing him that. Then he said, if thou doest well, shalt wilt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain talked with Abel, his brother, and it came to pass that when they was in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel, his brother, and slew him. Now, those overseas and these here saw Allah blessing the so-called Negro under the guidance of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and got jealous, got mad. And them over there, they wasn't trying to perpetuate Islam nowhere. They were just over there doing what they've been doing all the time, and everything is honky-dory. And then next thing you know, the Nation of Islam come on the scene, and Islam got a new representative now. And they looking at us and mad and want to kill us. Yeah. Like Cain and Abel. And then the book says, in the Holy Quran, verse 27 says, and when they offered an offering, but it was accepted from one of them and was not accepted from the other. He said, I will certainly kill thee. Well, that's what Cain said. He'll kill us. Yeah. How they start off to kill the Nation of Islam? They was waiting on the Honorable Elijah Muhammad to pass, waiting on him to die. And had W.D. Muhammad waiting in the wings, who had never believed. Huh? And as he said, I couldn't go in there and tell them that all that was a lie. They ran me out of there. And I don't blame them. Huh? What you mean? If it was all a lie, why would you not blame them if you told them that it was a lie and it truly was a lie? You would blame them. But if you really thought and knew that it was a lie, you wouldn't have had to wait until the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was gone. You would have did just like so many others had tried. Came out there and argued with him in front of everybody. Right? You notice, you don't have nobody coming in here telling me that the teachings was a lie. And if you wouldn't say it to someone who could talk back, why are you saying it at all? Which tells me you know you're lying. But see, I can't even provoke them no more. I used to could provoke them with talk like that. They done found out what side the bread buttered on, huh? They found out I don't bluff. If I say I can prove something, I can. Then it says, he said, I will kill thee. The other one said, Abel said, Allah accepts only from the dutiful. And he said, if thou stretch out thy hand against me to kill me, I shall not stretch out my hand against thee to kill thee. Surely I fear Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Now, what was Abel saying? I'm forbidden to kill you. Even them old devil Jews, them hypocrites in Jesus' day and time, when Pilate said, you go and do that. He said, Allah won't let us kill nobody. Well, what are they putting him up to it for? They didn't say I could get you to do it. Right? They're devils, man. They know Allah said don't kill. But now if you fool enough to go and let him tell you to do it, well, okay. Huh? That's what he's thinking. But anyway, it says, I would rather that thou shouldest bear the sin against me and thine own sin. Thus thou wouldest be of the companions of the fire. Wickedness burneth as the fire. And so if wickedness is fire, then the ones who walk with wickedness are the fuel for it. Do you understand? Then it says, and that is the recompense of the unjust. Now at length, by and by, he say, his mind made it easy for him to kill his brother. Like people's mind, his mind deluded him into thinking he was justified to commit murder or to kill his own brother, while Allah had said, thou shalt not kill. Huh? But in his mind, I remember when I was over at Alcorn, and the man, when I said, you know, ain't nobody got no business killing nobody. Nobody had that right to do but God. And he said, thou shalt not kill. Then the preacher said, well, thou shalt not murder. No, that ain't, well, that's what you changed it to. But regardless, kill, murder, same thing. Huh? Now, you ever seen two men fighting and betted on it, and yours was winning? What'd you tell him? Murder him, murder him, murder him. Is that right? What did you mean, murder him? Did you literally mean murder the man? Or did you mean fix him where he can't fight back no more? Is that right? I'm getting to something. Just hold on. And it says, at length, his mind made it easy for him to kill his brother. So he killed him. So he became one of the losers. Yeah. Yep. You know, when you lose control of anything, they say he lost it. He became one of the losers. Then it says, then Allah sent a crow scratching the ground to show him how to cover the dead body of his brother. Why did Allah send something to teach him? Because what did Allah say in the beginning? 6 days shall you what? And do what? He taught him how to bury his dead and all that, because he know he got a whole lot of that go on. Huh? Then he says, show him how to cover the dead body of his brother. He said, woe is me. Am I not able to be as this crow and cover the dead body of my brother? So he became of those who regret. Now you talk about a burden. Well, when something that you do makes you convict yourself and it's something you can't undo, boy, that just stick with you. Just walking around full of regret. He became of those who regret. And when you're full of regret, is what goes along with that is woe and loss of hope. Huh? Oh, I done really messed up now. What's the use? And then it's just downhill from there. And it says, for this reason, we prescribe for the children of Israel that whoever kills a person, unless it is for manslaughter or for mischief in the land, it is as though he had killed all men. Notice, for manslaughter or for mischief in the land, we sent warners to who? To who? To nations. You notice they have laws on the books for manslaughter. Huh? It wasn't even addressed to individuals. It's addressed to nations. Individuals in a nation can't be everybody going being judge, jury, and executioner. Okay. Otherwise, you start seeing stuff like you see there. These people are so emboldened by their devils that they get on international TV. That's all the internet is another TV. And physically murder people. And not even ashamed of it. But if they really thought they were right and justified, they would not hide their faces. You don't have to hide to do what's right. And then you're going to say that that's Islamic extremism? That ain't got nothing to do with Islam. That's just murder, man.
What kind of pussy you goddamn saying?
It's like this devil that just blurted out all of that. What you got to do that for?
Q&A session started.
All he had to do was unmute his phone and say, hey, we need to have it. We need to talk. But the devil ain't got a leg to stand on. It's just like this country. You white people, y'all did this stuff to us. I ain't go back no 1,000 years. All I got to do is go back to Trayvon Martin, to Michael Brown, to Mr. Deadweiler. I can go back to my forefathers here, my grandfather. You tied Malcolm X's daddy to some railroad and ran over him with a train. Bombed all them black people. Not only did they attack the black community there in Oklahoma, attacked them based on a lie. And then flew over them when they couldn't, when you know them black people were shooting back and whatnot. That's why I told you, you ain't no sense in you. He flew over them with planes and bombed them. And you come in here with your net self talking crazy to me. That's all right. I got something for that. Yes, Mom. Yes, sir. I got something for you.
We're going to see the last vestiges of it, I think, likely being end of the week, early weekend, even the Appalachians will be cold. But notice that low starts to track its way to replace that high, which means now a southerly component to the air. For a change.
And I'm going to tell you something else before I let this play. Remember, a lot of them people that's there is Europeans who went over there. Bloodthirsty from France, from England, and from other places over there doing that stuff. Just like you heard that one say that he need to put a 357 Magnum to my head. I'm not hiding from you, devil.
Now the question is, can we get the moisture and the cold air to pair up, and where do they pair up, and what does it mean for millions of people? So there's a lot of details to be worked out here, but if you take a look at this simple map here, what this is is cold air overlaid with what we call PWAT, or precipitable moisture. How much precip could we squeeze out of the clouds here? Where the two of those kind of line up together, that's where you're going to end up likely getting mostly a snow or some sort of wintry mix. So if you stay kind of south of that line and more in here, it's going to be all right. But notice, even up to New England by Sunday, it could end up being all rain.
Yeah, and that is pretty much key, because that's going to add more weight, of course, on the heavy snow that's there. And then you put water on top of it, and it'll melt some of the snow. And
Hey, you're not blocking these people, are you? No, don't block them. Let them unmute their phone and act a fool.
it's going to be a big mess.
It's a blessing and it's a curse at the same time. You know what I mean? And so it's one of those things where, yeah, it might be great to get some of that melt, but there's a huge concern of how much more weight this can add some roots here. Take a look at the forecast, though, as we get Friday, and it does include quite a nasty mix, especially across the Mid-South. Little Rock up toward the Boot Heel, Missouri, St. Louis over to Memphis to Nashville. We've got some real issues going on here. The farther north you go, the more likely you already get snow. I think the I-70 corridor is really a big target for some snow. And then we were talking about this, notice how that cold air really starts to pull north here. So that means eventually Memphis and Nashville, we're going over to rain on Saturday. And we're saying goodbye, we think now to the wintry precip, and 50s and 60s are back in the forecast. And notice here in the Northeast too, a lot of the snow is outside of Boston, at least the heaviest of snow. We may be in that mix or all rain. So it's going to be a real close call for us in a place like Boston. Yeah. But look at Memphis. I love the turnaround here. 28 degrees tomorrow, 61 on Saturday.
You know.
I mean, who doesn't love that? That's more Memphis style right there, right? Charlotte's similar for us. I mean, we'll be 5 degrees when you wake up tomorrow, and then 21 in the afternoon. That's it.
And what's even more of an oxymoron is that you have mostly sunny conditions, right? A temperature of only 21.
It's
You have several
outlooks and feels are totally different, right? But I love Sunday. Yes, we're bringing some rain, but 55 degrees. I think we'll take the rain with that 55 degrees in Charlotte.
All right. Thanks very much, Mike, for keeping everybody updated. Back to you, Mark.
Thanks, guys. And of course, there's still much more to come here on Weather Center Live as we track this brutal, dangerous, and potentially deadly outbreak of cold temperatures. And with more snow nights on the way.
Who is that whistling in there? You can put them out. Now, they're scared to say anything. Just want to whistle. Whistle that. Oh, nasty mouth self. But see, that's what's coming from. I told you, I don't need your bombs. I don't need your planes. I don't need nothing you got. That stuff you got won't work if we don't want it to. Gonna show you who got the power on this planet. Yeah, we're gonna show you. Now, so when you got people want to take these books and call themselves reading the book and explaining it to themselves and to others, deluding themselves. All of them. You notice you don't hear them talking about the coming of the Mahdi no more. Why? Because they know the Mahdi is here and he ain't the one they thought he should be. So now they try to go all the way around me. Don't be dissuaded or disheartened because you hear some of these nuts come in here. What you been hearing from the devil all your life? Cussing and squeezing. That's all he can do. He's like an old dog that can't do nothing but bark. See that? That's what I'm talking about. It's just an old dog. And if that phone line wasn't innocent wheezing in his face, you wouldn't say nothing. You'd be sitting like that old dog that bark at you, and then you walk in the gate, he go wet on himself. You see? Put them out. That's the way you do that. Since they won't talk. I mean, you know, I mean, these people don't want to hear all that garbage. They didn't come here for that. If they wanted that, they'd go to your channels that you have on. You know, you got all kinds of talk. on your channels, got men kissing men and all that old mess. Huh?
Q&A session started.
So, you know, I mean, that's what they from. You know, like them, you remember in Sodom and Gomorrah, they got so bold they decided they was gonna attack Lot. And what happened? There you go. There you go. You see, so I'm not surprised they getting bold. I want you to get bold so that the whole world will see why what's happening to you is gonna happen. Allah ain't never destroyed a people and somebody had to say, why did he do that? You seeing why? If you got something that you think that justifies your behavior, let's hear it. Talking about you got a religion and got to stand there with some guns and stuff on to protect your church. I ain't got no guns on me. Don't need them. And every time you notice, this one got sound like a broke record. Huh? Can't think of nothing else to say. They're stuck on stupid. You understand? You say, well, you're provoking them. No, I'm just bringing it out. That's what the sun does. It brings out what's in the seed. It makes it come out and show itself. See, I'm making them do that. That's right. You see? So, you know, this world is at its end. So I'm just making it clear. Let's finish reading this scripture here. I don't want no interruptions here. Okay. It says, for this reason, we prescribe for the children of Israel that whoever kills a person, unless it is for manslaughter or for mischief in the land, it is as though he had killed all men. And whoever saves a life, it is as though he had saved the lives of all men. And certainly our messengers, notice the word, our messengers came to them. Messengers come to nations. Do you understand? It says, with clear arguments. But even after that, many of them commit excesses in the land. The only punishment of those who wage war against Allah and messenger and strive to make mischief in the land is that they should be murdered or crucified, or their hands and their feet should be cut off on opposite sides, or they should be imprisoned. Now, if I left that like that, I'd be just as guilty of them as them if I left it like that after reading it to you. But let me show you. I have 100 pennies, or 4 quarters, or 20 nickels, or 10 dimes, or $1. What am I saying? He said they'd be imprisoned. What does that do? That does cut their feet off on the, what's the dimensions of the average sail? It ain't got as many feet in it as they used to have, huh? To move around. Once they confine, then you cutting their feet off on opposite sides. East, west, north, and south, on however you go, you don't cut their feet off. Their feet that they can travel. You understand? And what about where it says, and let's go through it piece by piece. They should be murdered. What happens when you murder somebody? You take away their ability to do anything else. You take their life, huh? You ain't never heard the term, your life of crime is over. Why? Because you going to prison. So have you not, in essence, murdered that criminal? Okay. Or crucified. Or their hands and their feet should be cut off on opposite sides. Well, you know, when you're not free to use when you physically cut a person's hands off, they're not free to use them no more, huh? When you imprison them, they ain't free to use them either. That's why it ends with saying, or imprisoned. How do you go from murder to imprison? Then you don't see that there's something strange there. Do you understand? Being in prison is like God. You can't move until somebody lets you. You stuck there. But there is a chance of redemption, because you still are living and breathing. You understand? Well, all praises due to Allah. So then, to show you that what I just gave you is the truth, look at the next verse. Except those who repent before you overpower them. So know that Allah is forgiving and merciful. You notice, what does the book say to show you that these people have not understood the scripture? Fight with those that fight with you, right? When they cease fighting with you, what? When you capture someone and make them a prisoner, are they still fighting with you? Then why would you go and behead them? Prisoners of war, they can't do no more fighting. You done fixed the way he can't fight. Then if you release him and he returns to that, then slay him. Because now you're not being unjust. You are what? You are defending yourself against him. Right? But you don't believe in justice. You take a man and imprison him. You capture a man who's fighting you. I mean, even in war, there are rules. It's just like in the ring. If you fighting a man and you knock him down, they don't let you get on top of him and keep beating him. He ain't fighting back. Okay, you go to the neutral corner. Now let's see if he want to go some more. Right? And if he keep on ready to go, okay, he asking for it. Put on him. Is that right? You live in a world and you ain't learned nothing from how things go, how things really go. So, but now that's that same lady that Brother Michael, that's that same Australia lady, that person up there in Alaska or somewhere. Yeah. They came through Skype. Yeah, but that same word that she was using there, sound like the same people. I told you they can't stop listening to me. That's like trying to say that, a lot of people, they don't like to come out in the daytime, but they just can't get away from the sun. That's the truth. Because I have that which no one else has. I have the truth from Allah. You see? And Allah told me, son of man, if they have hated me, they'll hate you too. If they have kept my sayings, they will keep yours also. Because all yours is mine. And all mine is, you see? Isaiah didn't say who have believed my report. He said who have believed our report. You see? So, it's just like they finally tell the truth to the people, dropped the little hen out there and left it alone about what happened to Malcolm X. Now, before I go into this, I want you to remember something. Malcolm he had realized he got played. Not by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's why he apologizing to the messenger. But just like with Dr. King, when he realized that he had invited his people into a burning house. Now that didn't come from me. That came from Harry Belafonte. He said that Martin Luther King was down and looking distraught. And he told him, which makes sense, because in that mountaintop speech, he told our people, he said, look, I'm not fearing any man now. He said, God has allowed me to go to the mountaintop. And I've seen the promised land. He said, and I might not get there with you, but we as a people. He was talking about black people. He said, we're going to get to the promised land. Yeah, that's right. Now, I'll go into that sometime with you about land. Most people, they have black and white language in a color universe and wonder why they always messing up. But anyway, when Martin Luther King was pressed on it, he told, according to Harry Belafonte, he said, I'm afraid that all I've done was invited my people into a burning house. Huh? He had been talking with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and they heard him making friends with the messenger, and they said, as the messenger said, they made up their mind that they was going to kill Martin Luther King. That's right. He said when his disciples don't follow him, he killed them. He's talking about the devil. But this is one disciple that's not his. You see. No. He ain't got no authority to kill me. And you ain't either. So I ain't worried about what you don't think you scheming. But anyway, with Malcolm, the same thing. When they saw he was about to try to get back with the messenger, no, couldn't let that happen. And you see, all you have to do is just add it together. You know, as long as he was, even in the movie, they said Malcolm said he's going to stop saying that the Muslims is doing this because they ain't got this kind of training. They ain't got this kind of understanding. He realized then that no, it wasn't the messenger trying to do nothing to you. The government of America was doing that. They played you away from the messenger, and now they want to destroy you. But they couldn't do it as long as you was behind him. But when you jumped out from behind him, it was open season on you. That's the way lions hunt. They cut one out of the herd. And where you thought you was the fastest, you wind up being the slowest. It don't do no good to tell somebody else that you would rather be on a canoe with the Honorable Elijah Muhammad at the helm than on the Queen Mary with anybody else if you really didn't mean that. You enjoining other people to follow a man that you hadn't committed yourself to. And I don't say that as someone who hate Malcolm or hate any of, I don't have no heart full of hatred for nobody. Even that silly person that talking all that old, yeah. I always want to talk to people.
Only 5-time world champion. Excuse me. Only 5-time world champion of the world.
I always want to talk to people who disagree with me. I mean, talking to somebody who agree with you don't teach you much. Talking to someone who disagree with you is where you find out the strength or the weakness in what you have. But most of the people that are in this world, they can't hold no conversation with you. They're too bigoted. Get mad when you get on them about giving you some proof or giving you some sources where they getting that stuff from. They get mad. They just want to stand up and tell you a bunch of lies like they've been told. Instead of getting mad at me questioning you, you should get mad at yourself and not question the person who told you all them lies. You know, I mean, like I said, a dummy can't follow me. You got to want to, I mean, you can start off ignorant. Ignorant don't mean you're dumb. An ignorant man is a hungry man. You can feed him. At least he should be hungry. If he's not hungry, he's dumb. Why? Because he's ignorant and wants to stay that way. That's a dumb person. In a universe that is unforgiving of ignorance. You want to stay dumb? How you know the universe is unforgiving of ignorance? Take a walk through a jungle and see if the lion won't come get you. He'll say, oh, he don't know no better. We go get, well, if you don't know no better, you finna learn. Is that right? Is that right? Yeah. The universe does not forgive ignorance. Truth is all around you. You had better start seeking it. So here we go with them talking about Malcolm. Now look at this.
We formed a group known as the Organization of Afro-American Unity. It's non-religious, number one. Any Negro can belong to it. And the objective of that organization is to bring about a
You see how comfortable he was saying any Negro can belong to it? See, he had slipped back into his old way of thinking. He's there talking to the people. I mean, it's a white woman he talking to there. He's there talking to her like a dead man again, like an ignorant man again. You done forgot all about the history where these people murdered his father by tying him to a trolley car rail or whatever. But that's what happens when you turn on God's messenger. It's like when you physically die. You heard those saying, you ain't never seen nobody go to the graveyard with a U-Haul following them. You don't take nothing with you. And if you listen to him when he talks about the black man and woman of America, when he was following the messenger, if he used the term Negro, he said so-called Negro. Huh? But, you know, he let them trick him away from his teacher because he underestimated them. When you start thinking that white people are dumb, that's one of the gravest errors or mistakes that you can make. Is to start thinking that he's dumb and not realize that he's acting. If he was so dumb, how did he hold you for 400 years and still got you there? You ain't out of it yet. And if Allah did not intervene, we never get out of it. Anytime God said, I have seen, I have heard their cries, and I am come down to deliver them. What did that tell you? Couldn't nobody else deliver you, otherwise he'd have sent them. So let's listen to Malcolm some more.
Condition that will guarantee respect and recognition of the 22 million black Americans as human beings.
Now, this is very laudable, but how?
Well, by any means necessary.
It was incredibly high-pressure time for Malcolm. As Malcolm's mind was expanding, as his worldview was expanding.
See how they showing befores and afters of him? Wherever you see him clean shaven, that's when he was following the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's how people got to know him. They didn't get to know him as that beard-wearing man that was talking to her. They got to know him as the national spokesman, the national representative of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's what he was famous for. And he left that. Now, and they helped engineer that.
That he was occupying was shrinking.
Valentine's Day, a Molotov cocktail is...
Mind was expanding as his worldview was expanding. The space that he was...
Look at that picture there. Standing between two who? Agents of the government? They were manipulating him. And he didn't know it. He didn't understand what the game was.
occupying was shrinking. Valentine's Day, a Molotov cocktail is thrown into the nursery of our home, my parents' home, where my father's 4 babies slept, and my mother, of course, was pregnant with the twins.
I became frightened for him and his family because this was the first time that I can recall that there was a direct attack, not only on him, but on his family.
If you attack me, that's one thing. I know what to do when you start attacking me. But when you attack sleeping babies while you are lower than a gun.
That's actually where that picture of my father with the rifle came from. He couldn't.
Now, in that serious moment there, who was there taking a picture? An agent right there. And he's not paying attention to what's really going on around him. And it got him to do something that he taught against. Just pay attention and learn something.
Yeah, protection. And he said, if I can't get anyone to protect me as a citizen, that I have a rifle and I will protect my family.
It was a stressful time for him, and he still decided to press on. And so he scheduled a rally for February 21st in 1965. He was going to give the formal unfolding of the OAAU platform and plan of action.
When he arrived near the Audubon, he parked his car about 2 blocks away. Didn't let us know he was arriving, and he walked up Broadway to the Audubon. He just made himself a perfect target, and he knew better.
He saw me and he said, Brother Peter, when you get a chance, come backstage. I want to talk to you.
I checked my equipment, finished my setup, taped the microphones up and all that.
By the way, the OAAU was the Organization of African American Unity. And he had said that it had nothing to do with religion. And you say a Muslim says this, what he's doing have nothing to do with religion? Everything I'm doing has to do with my religion. He never should have left the Nation of Islam. He never should have tried to judge the messenger of God. Always leave the judgment of God's messenger to the one who sent him. Unless you get yourself in trouble with the one who sent him. Because in order to make judgments about someone, you have to be equal or greater in knowledge than them. But they framed up mischief by laws in this country. You say a man have a right to be judged by a jury of his peers. Well, if you really believe that, then you know you're not qualified to judge no messenger of God. Because unless you're a messenger of God, only messengers can judge messengers. You see? Even Pilate knew that. That's why he said, I wash my hands of this. Nothing to do with that. least he tried to, didn't he? Okay. Now let's see what else these brothers have to say. And if the truth gonna come out, just wait.
Then he came back and he said he wanted me to go and make a phone call.
He said, do any of you know what Reverend Milton Galamison looked like? And I said, I do. So he said to me, he said, well, go out front. And when he comes in, bring him backstage. So I said, okay.
He knew what I actually did, photography and recording, but he insisted that I go make this telephone call. And I tried to explain to it, I have to get this stuff set up. He just stopped and looked right at me and said, brother, I want you to go make the phone call.
I sat in the front row. I think I was third from the aisle.
He insisted I get out of there to go out, completely out of the building where the telephone booth was. And while I was in the booth, he steps out there.
I heard Brother Malcolm say, Assalamu alaikum.
Somebody shouted, your hand out of my pocket, very loud. Then a little tussle, and Malcolm responded by holding a hand up, something like, hold on there, brothers.
While I was in the telephone booth, I heard the shots.
I ran into the Audubon ballroom, and people were running out by this time, and they were screaming and crying and cursing.
My mother put her body on top of us. She covered her babies because there was all the shooting.
I don't know how many shooters are in there. I mean, this is while the smell of gun smoke is still in the air. I'm crawling to a phone. My mind is focused on doing my job.
I am at the Audubon ballroom. Pandemonium is the only word that I can use to describe the scene here. I was sitting in the first row when Malcolm came on the stage and greeted the audience with his traditional salam alaikum, a Muslim greeting. As soon as he said that, several persons, it happened so quickly I can't describe them, lit up and fired shots.
You could see a crowd over Malcolm up on the stage, where I ran down the left-hand side of the building up on the stage. I still had my camera with me, and I kept right on shooting pictures.
Someone had opened his shirt, and I saw all these bullet holes in his body. And I remember thinking to myself, he's going to die, because he was gasping.
I wish it never happened. It was the saddest moment of my life. Trying to help.
I started talking to everybody I could to have them reiterate from their perspective what had just happened and what they thought of it.
One of the mistakes that people make is thinking that they have some kind of power to protect anybody. Divine men are not protected by anyone but God. As you see, presidents get assassinated and whatnot with all of these so-called protectors of them. That's why we say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the worlds. You see, I don't seek no refuge in the people in this world. That's like looking for shelter from a rainstorm up under a spider web. This ain't gonna happen. It's nice to have helpers, but Allah is the protector. Do you understand? There you go.
I heard your shots. I ran forward. I saw Malcolm.
Oh, and always remember, as long as Malcolm was with Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Allah himself protected Malcolm. And he wasn't walking around worrying about who was thinking about doing nothing to him. But when he left the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he left everything that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught him.
Hold his side, hold his stomach, and fell down. How do you know? I want to kill somebody. That's right, I want to kill somebody. Before the night's over, if Malcolm dies, somebody gonna die.
Well, it was a certain noise, and then the two fellas, one was a black Muslim, and I don't know who the other one was, because I didn't see him, ran and started shooting, and everybody fell to the floor. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It was no secret in America, nor in the nation of Islam, that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the nation of Islam was honeycombed with hypocrites. You know what the word Muslim means? It means one who submits. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to all of them who was mad because Malcolm was out there saying all of those hateful things about him and everything, he said, leave Mr. Malcolm alone. Everybody who was Muslim did what the messenger said. So she's talking about she saw a black Muslim. Hey, you may saw somebody who said it was a Muslim. But if he tried to do something to Malcolm, he wasn't no Muslim, because his teacher had told him and everybody who was in the nation to leave Malcolm alone. Just like when the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told all of his ministers. When President Kennedy got shot, he said, don't say anything about the death of the president. Malcolm got out there and decided he would say something. He wasn't Muslim. You know, many people, they done got so, they try to do the word Muslim like they do, it's like it's a club or something. You know, it's like the police. Everybody wearing a badge, that once they get the badge, they're policemen. Good or bad. Until they get put off. But there ain't no such thing as an unrighteous Muslim. No such creature. And where you gonna be unrighteous if you're one who submits to do God's will? No. So let's go back.
For black Muslims, because I recognize it.
You saved my life. But had you not sent me out, I would have been sent there by the tape recorder that wouldn't have back to the order. When they started shooting, I'd have been shot in the back.
Then the brothers had gone and bogarted a stretcher from Columbia Presbyterian Hospital, which is right across the street. Just took a stretcher. They put him on the stretcher and rolled it out back over to the hospital.
The only person that was caught at the scene was Talmadge Hayer.
I believe if Hare had not been shot in the leg and had not been beaten up by those who loved my father, that he would not have ever been arrested. That he would have gone free just like the rest of the killers were.
The evidence points to the fact that Hayer was the only person convicted for Malcolm X's assassination that had a part in it.
When Penn and Teller brought comedy to magic,
Norman Butler and Thomas Johnson, Hayer initially identified them as cook.
Now, just remember, the whole time that Malcolm was representing the messenger, he never advocated picking up a weapon. He only did that after he left the messenger. And he advocated picking up weapons. And what killed him? You know, I would say this to you. If you go around picking up rattlesnakes, are you surprised if you get bit every now and then? You pick up guns, then you should expect to get shot. What is the purpose of a gun? If nothing else, it's to shoot, isn't it? Well, if someone knows you got guns, then are you aware that you've made yourself a target for someone else who has one and knows you have one? Not saying that people need to know you have a gun to make you a target. But once Allah moved into the equation and ordered you and me who say we believe in him and obey his message, when he ordered us to disarm ourselves, what was he telling us? He was saying, I will protect you. You don't need no gun. You got me. That's what he's saying. And he's sufficient for me. I see other people with guns. I never trusted no gun no way, because you go to war and you see that the gun can't really protect you. People with guns get shot all the time. That's what happens in war, ain't it? Both sides shooting at each other. Even the gun that you carry, it can be used against you, like a sword or whatever else, you know, the physical sword. It can cut you too. Is that right? Okay. So the gun can shoot you too. It don't just shoot at people that you want to shoot at, it can shoot at you. So you trust in Allah and get a gun back to his maker.
Conspirators. He later would recant his testimony. They weren't apprehended at the scene. There's no physical evidence that connected them to the assassination. It was all circumstantial. No one remembered seeing them there.
Clearly, he posed a threat to the government, he posed a threat to the Nation of Islam. He posed.
No, Malcolm did not pose any threat to the Nation of Islam. But while he was teaching for the messenger, this government posed him a threat to them because he was causing black people to stand up and be men, and you just can't man as a slave. You can't hold him as a tool and a slave. If he keep listening to somebody like Malcolm and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, then the slavery system will soon be over. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching us to establish our own businesses in our community and also to support them. Well, that was a death blow to all these businesses like McDonald's and Burger King and all these businesses that's over in these countries doing business. If they couldn't invite them people over into this country to do business, they wouldn't be able to do business in there. So us not being in business made us a total consumer people, which enables people to come and set up shop in our community, and we go and make them rich while we stay poor. and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad was teaching us to do for ourselves. And Malcolm was helping him. So they had to try to split him up. And they worked on Malcolm and got other people to work on him. And next thing you know, Malcolm got the big head, and he, which people praising you all of the time will make you big head. If you're not careful. And the messenger warned him about the dangers of people putting a microphone in your face. So, he underestimated them. And they tricked him out of his position.
It's just all so unfortunate.
You do not personally feel that anyone, any member of the Brotherhood of Islam committed this crime?
No, we don't do a thing like that.
That summer of 1964, J. Edgar Hoover sent a memo to his New York office that explicitly stated, quote, "Do something about Malcolm X."
Do something about Malcolm X. In the summer of 64. And in 65, before Savior's Day of 65, Malcolm was dead. Why? Because they saw him trying to get back to the messenger. Do something about him. So what can we say? Came out their own mouth, didn't come out of mine.
We don't know what he meant by that. There are thousands of pages of classic.
No, we don't know. He's scared to say. That's why you can't represent us. Because you're too scared of what white folks gonna do to you. The one to represent us can only be somebody who's backed up by the God of who's over white people and us. Otherwise, you're always going to be too scared to say what needs to be said. And right now, I'm the only one that ain't too scared to say what needs to be said. I should say scared to say what needs to be said. You see. And if Allah wasn't with me, I wouldn't be saying it. I remember the messenger said, I wouldn't trust no dream with this devil. He said, no. No. Anytime Allah could say to me, thousands of years before I was born, be not afraid of their words nor their looks. Well, he must know something. He must know plenty. Because that was said in there before I was born. And he told me, now you go and read that. And you speak with what's in there. Huh? So, all praises due to Allah. I stand up before the whole world and invite them to come in and show me that what they have is right and what I have is wrong. Is the conference room open again?
Q&A session is over.
Now, if someone has something they want to show me, I had to finish reading the scripture because I didn't want Miss Nasty Mouth to be interrupting that with her nasty mouth. We always welcome people who think they have a disagreement with us. Because if I find someone who has a legitimate disagreement with me on anything I'm teaching, then that would tell me that Allah ain't guiding me. I'm deceiving myself. And I'm not one who would like to be indulged in self-deception. That's called delusion. I don't ever want to deceive myself. So, any questions or arguments? You know, the Holy Quran says we have made unclean ones for what kind of things? Unclean things. There you go. So, when I see people that seem to like the evil that's going on, as just we made evil ones for evil things. Evil minds love evil things. You know, it's like people who think that they every time something is done, they get mad at the vessel. The vessel didn't do it. The mind that was instructing the vessel did. So when you are too weak in your thoughts and in your ability to put forth arguments to change that mind, killing the vessel that mind is in is the same as murdering a hostage. Because it's for sure that our bodies are held hostage by our minds. And if you want the body to be free and at peace, you have to free it from an evil mind. Do you understand? So, anybody disagree with me? This is the place to do it. That's why I couldn't understand that. I mean, how do you leave a man that challenged the whole world and shut their mouth, and then you leave him because the rulers of a world that he done condemned somehow convinced you that he wasn't what he claimed to be? You pretty dense. It's like I was telling a brother, I never really, I like talking to believers because oftentimes things dawn on me while I'm talking to people, while trying to save them. Things dawn on me that hadn't dawned on me before. You understand? Because even when I read it, I didn't fully understand what was being said in the 40th chapter of Psalms. When Allah told me, as in the Holy Quran, I want to show you here. In the second chapter of the Holy Quran, so you need both of these books together. The Holy Quran and the Holy Bible are like the consonants and the vowels in the English language. It's like the 2 parts hydrogen and 1 part oxygen in water. You can't, if you don't have them both, you don't get the water. You understand? If you don't have both scriptures, you don't get the truth. You never will understand. As I hear people all the time, they keep talking about a suggestion that the Holy Quran was for everybody. No, it was not. The Holy Bible was not for everybody, and the Holy Quran was neither. The Holy Quran and the Holy Bible were designed to produce the mind that was for everybody. Do you understand? If it was for you, I wouldn't have to explain it to you. You'll notice ain't nobody got to explain me to you. That's because I'm for you. He told me to eat up the book and go and speak with it. He said, go, son of man, eat up that scroll. Now get thee to the house of Israel and speak with my words unto them. Because when I say to the wicked that he shall die in his iniquity, if you don't give him warning, do that sound like the book was for you? No, I'm for you. And so in the, the devil, the white man, that white woman, whatever, same thing. You can't talk about the white man if you ain't talking about the white man and the white woman. But those two make the white race. Do you understand? Just like the black man and the black woman are one. You see, if you don't believe it, just look how we get here. It takes 2 to produce that one. There you go. All right. So those 2 are one. All right. Now, in the 45th verse, it says, and seek assistance through patience. And what? And prayer. And this is hard, except for who? Well, it didn't say rebellious and humble don't go together. And so Allah, if he told me to be not like that rebellious house, what was he telling me? So I humble myself to him. And since I was told to be patient, what's another word? What somebody mean when they tell you to be patient? They mean, huh? Look what it said in that 40th chapter of Psalms. I waited patiently for the Lord. Move not your tongue to make haste with it. That's what he told me. Wait until I give you understanding of it. So he said, I waited patiently for the Lord, and he inclined unto me and heard my cry. He brought me up also out of an horrible pit. Yeah, I bear witness. Out of the miry clay. What is a grave? It's a pit, isn't it? I'm he that liveth and what? The messenger said that Allah pulled him out and then sent him back to the cemetery to pull me out. Yeah. And he said he was the second self of God Almighty. Yeah. He brought me up also out of an horrible pit, out of the miry clay. and set my feet upon a rock, upon the truth. Made me stand up on the truth. That's the rock. And just like the continent is a rock. You see, you go and dig down, they want to hit bedrock before they put up them skyscrapers there. They won't be in that little sedimentary soil and stuff. They put them tiers down in there till they hit some bedrock. Huh? Yeah. And so it says, and he hath put a new song in my mouth. They sung as it were a what? A new song. Yeah. If it's a song, it's got harmony in it. Is that right? You'll notice when harmony takes place, you get one man hitting a major, and another one hitting a sharp, and another one hitting a flat. But when they it harmonizes, all of it sounds like it belongs together. Is that right? You'll notice I'll be reading out of all of the scriptures and putting this one with another one, and they just harmonize with each other. Don't they? A new song is being there's he hath put a new song in my mouth. That's right. You ain't never heard no man teach out of all of these scriptures like I do. And it says, many shall see it and fear and shall trust in the Lord. That's right. Because as it's written, the messenger said, this is how it goes, my Lord. When a man gets so close to God, God accepts him as his friend. And what one will, the other one will. And so he makes it where you can take your chances with the messenger. And he said, and if you believe in the messenger, that's sufficient. You believe in me. Yeah. He that believes in him whom God sends believes not just in him, but on him that sent him. Do you understand? That's written too. He that believeth on me, believe not on me alone, but also on him who sent me. Do you understand? Then he says, blessed is that man that maketh the Lord of the worlds his trust. Yeah. It's like they kept reminding their people on the back of the dollar bill. In God, we trust. Blessed is that man that really does that. It says, and respecteth not the proud, nor such as turn aside to lies. Oh, what do you mean respect them? Meaning acknowledge them as some kind of authority or something. No, I do not acknowledge you as no authority. And it says, many, O Lord, my God, are thy wonderful works which thou hast done. Yeah, I bear witness. I'm looking at all these scriptures, and many, if you know, it's just the books are just filled with wisdom. It says, and thoughts which are to usward. That's right. Yeah, I bear witness that's what's in the. You notice, as I tell people all the time, heads don't talk to tails. Heads don't talk to hands. Heads don't talk to feet. Heads don't talk to torsos. Heads talk to other heads. Many of thy thoughts to usward. Yeah. Then it says, I know that makes some of you all envious and jealous and all that kind of thing, but that's foolish on your part. I'm being myself. Why would you, what would your, even if your foot had a brain or whatever, why would it want to be a head when it ain't got no mouth and no ears? Why not be what you are? I'm being what I am. It says, they cannot be reckoned up in order unto thee. If I would declare and speak of them, they are more than can be numbered. If all the ocean was ink and all the trees was pens, exclusively for just the words of my Lord, and you brought twice that up, the oceans would be exhausted before the words of my Lord. I can't reckon them up. There's so many. Both books agreeing on this. A new song coming out of his mouth. And it says, sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire. I always wondered about that.
All right. Is this McDonald's?
Is this what?
Is this McDonald's? Can I get a Big Mac?
You can put him out. The devil, he gets bored when you teaching the word of God, bro. He wants you to be teaching his stuff. You see. So it says, sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire. And I used to wonder about that. Then Allah told me why. Because he didn't care nothing about me making no offering an apology for some sin that I did, or any kind of trying to make atonement for anything. Because it would be contrary to what he said I was going to be. He said in all of their afflictions, I would be afflicted. I don't have to apologize for being afflicted because he said I would be afflicted. And by delivering his word to you, he said I would deliver my soul. He, as the messenger told me, he said, brother, take plenty. You will be all right. You will come up out of it. I bear witness. So it says, sacrifice and offering thou didst not desire. Well, what did he desire? Mine ears hast thou opened. Huh? Son of man, hear what I say unto thee. Give them warning from me. Put them out. You notice the wicked watching me. And what did the Holy Quran say they would do? Make noise therein. Perhaps we will overcome him with rage. Do I seem like I'm raging? No. I'm right on point here. It says, mine ears hast thou opened, burnt offering and sin offering hast thou not required. You ain't required no offering from me. Be begging no forgiveness for no sins. That's like somebody sending you. I tell you what. If you had a mansion, and your sewage system was all backed up, getting all up in your house. You know how toilets run over, right? Did that ever happen to you before? All right. You must ain't got no house if it did. You must not have been poor. So, you know, because sometimes we used to have to take newspaper and do it like that and make it real soft when I was growing up to wipe yourself with. But anyway, no, y'all ain't never been that poor, but I. And but the toilet gets stopped up sometimes. And when the man came, sometime it was the neighbor or somebody that your parents knew. When he came out, I mean, this stuff it was rough. Huh? He crawling all up under there, getting in it.
Life is like a nigger. Oh, Q&A session started.
Did you put him out? Okay. So when the y'all see how people don't want you to get the truth? All right. Now, when the man crawled all up under there in that sewage and stuff, and get it all unstopped and everything, and he came and, you know, he come back in the house and whatnot. Nobody said don't be tracking that stuff all back in here and whatnot. And nobody say, look at you, man, don't come in here. Because he got like that, trying to fix your problem. What a fool you are to try to judge God's message. Like I said, you know, it's like these boys talking about when they talk about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Wallace and them had a habit of saying, may Allah be pleased with him and forgive him for his wrong. And I said, forgive him? What are you? You notice you never hear him say that about Prophet Muhammad or Jesus. No. Why did he say that about the Honorable Elijah Muhammad? I said the only thing he need to be forgiven for is for caring about people who could have gave less than a damn about him. And Allah told him, he said, you are they that will love them while they love you not. So Allah told me, you don't have to be offering no sin offerings and all that stuff. I opened your ears. The only thing you got to offer is the truth to people that I gave you. And don't be afraid of their looks nor their words, because they are most rebellious. They and their fathers have transgressed against me even unto this very day. He did tell them 6 days share your labor and do all your work. So all the way up to the Sabbath day, they're going to transgress. They've been transgressed even until this very Sabbath day. So, but it's some deep stuff, ain't it? Then said I, lo, I come. In the volume of the book, it's all about me. Yeah. That's why the messenger told me, he said, you want to talk, read the Quran. Read the Bible. He's talking to you. And you got to go talk to the people. Yeah. So that's what I'm doing. You see? Don't worry about these people who you hear. Just a little while longer, and And the wicked, you'll be looking for them and won't be able to find them. Let me see here. Beg your pardon? What did you say? 37th chapter and the 10th verse. It says, for yet a little while, and the wicked shall not exist. That's what be means. I told you the poets are kin to the prophets. What did Shakespeare say? To be or what? That is the what? That is the question you should be asking yourself. Because if you want to exist in God's universe, you better stop being wicked. So it's written, yeah, thou shalt diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. Yeah. But the meek shall inherit the earth. Blessed are the meek, for they shall what? And then Jesus said that? Him and David is in agreement now. And shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Why? Because the peace breaker ain't going to be here. That's right. The wicked plotteth against the just and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. Well, he's gnashing his teeth from hell. You see, there shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. The Lord shall laugh at him. Like you just saw me doing with Fatty Arbuckle. The Lord shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. Huh? Oh, yes, sir, I see it. I'm looking at it. It's called Judgment Day. Yeah, it ain't coming, it's here. They getting it right now. Better be glad I'm going to be traveling this week. So, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy. How you know that's true? What they've been promising to get in office. Going to repeal affordable health care. Cast them down. Put them back out. Huh? Don't give them no health care with their money. We can steal this money. Is that right? Is that right? And bold to say it. So it says. It says to cast down the poor and the needy, and to slay such as be of an upright conversation. Yeah, they like to slay me. They want to slay anybody who speaks right. You see? It's just, that's one of the reasons why they hate Joe Biden. Because he's just down to earth. He don't try to put on no airs, no facades. And he don't care what he don't care what they see him doing, as long as he know he's not doing anything wrong. They make wrong out of it. Their sword shall enter into their own heart. That's what he said. and their bows shall be broken. Yep, that fixes it. A little that a righteous man hath is better than the riches of many wicked. I bear witness. Again and again, I bear witness. I'll go into this with you later. It's Wednesday night. And, I ain't gonna say Friday night. I may talk with you while I'm on the road. I don't know yet. So we will see. But it's 11 o'clock. That's long enough. 12 o'clock up north. So may Allah bless us all, keep us safe, and in our right mind. And remember, control yourself. Don't let a fool make you act a fool. Even if I'm fussing at a fool, I'm still in control of myself. I ain't lost control of myself. You know, I make the fool lose control of himself. Just a moment. Are we still in the conference room? I hung up on somebody. Just a moment.
This service is provided. Access code accepted. There are 57 participants in this conference. This conference is being recorded. Q&A session started.
You all pardon me a moment. I mess around there and drop the station. Are we back? You all excuse me. I don't like to get out of here without greeting you, and the phone accidentally hung up. So, it had my help though. Beg your pardon? Just a moment. You talking about in the other conference room? Okay. You all pardon me. I accidentally hung up. And I don't like to hang up without wishing you peace, because by signing off, wishing your continued peace, because while I'm teaching, I'm giving you my peace. And if you receive it, what I had to say, then your mind is being more and more attuned to my mind. We are becoming one. So, and that's what the book says, that they may be one as we are. One head don't need but one body. That there may be one sheepfold and one shepherd. You see. You see. So it's written, keep through thine own name them that thou hast given me. That's over in the book of John, chapter. And, says in the 11th verse, says, and now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I come to thee. Holy Father, keep through thine own name those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are. they may be one sheepfold as we are one shepherd. That's right. Let me see. So I'm going to let that do for now. May Allah bless us all, keep us safe and in our right minds. May Allah's salam alaikum.
Your conference recording.